Adfys Camber has come to North Wales, here to Felinichaf on the Llŷn Peninsula, to work on a new show. We're working here for a week. It's just the start of what we hope will be a process to develop a new show working with these artists who we've worked with for quite a long time now.
The exciting thing about having a development week in a place like this is really getting into contact with nature, with place, with materials, all sorts of things that happen in stories that are usually just, put out through words, and they feel quite distant. And what the opportunity is for the artists and us to really understand more about the landscape, more about the names in the landscape, more about the people that live here, and kind of bring those things together in the way that the story will be told in the future.
The story we're telling is the fourth and final branch of the Mabinogi. It's a story of a magical king in North Wales. It's a story of betrayal and love, honour, magic, transformation. A lot of Welsh mythology is located in landscape. And here we have an amazing group of locations which refer precisely to the story.
We've been looking at, in detail, at the terrain, as close as picking up bits of sheep's fleece and earth and dust and things from the actual sites. We've really been getting into it with these significant sites that we've been visiting.
It felt like it's changed everything for me. When we now work, we really know the landscape we're talking about because we were lying on it, or we were working on it, or we were putting our fingers through it, or we were looking. It's gone much deeper now, so we've got a proper reference.
This whole place is a place for story, is for deepening the exploration of story. So in the evening times there's time around the fire to actually think about it and to speak it and share it in that way, and then during the day to actually work with some of those processes and the landscape and the actual elements here on the Llŷn.
The artists have just been making spears and then firing those spears at slates, and that followed on from a site visit to Gronw Stone, where in the story the spear is thrown at the stone. And just that experience of having seen the physical place and then actually going through the process of forging a spear and what is technically and physically involved in doing that, and thinking about the character who does that and what that would mean in the story, and then actually just physically attempting to throw a spear at a stone and finding out what happens. There's so much that's gone into that, and there'll be so much that comes out of that in the show, I'm sure.
Look at that!
This particular group of artists are really interesting in the way that they want to engage audiences in that storytelling journey. So what we've been looking at this week is different ways in activating the space that the story happens in to include audience members much more in that feeling of being together in one place.
For this show, we would like to make a space where we and the audience really are in the same place at the same time. Maybe there's a way of using natural objects, sticks or whatever, in the space in order to create structures and so on. Maybe we're doing a little bit of that, and what would be great would be to somehow get the audience implicated in that as well. So they are actively involved in creating, literally creating, the event with us.
It's been brilliant to work with Felinichaf for this week because it felt so important for a story that's based in Wales and that's come from Wales to actually be based in Wales at the very, very beginnings of the new project. And to work with an organisation like this, where there's just so much going on that's about story, about storytelling, about the physical world, the landscape of the story itself, and the business of making things, which is what we're doing. We're making a new show, a show that's based on a very old story, and trying to combine that old story with people of now, artists of now and audiences of now.
There are some stories that fell out of fashion some time ago, and why people now know Mabinogi mainly through books. I don't know quite what, but this is an attempt to re-establish that into the oral tradition once again. So not to revive something that was once lost, but there's a time where we can explore them anew, you know, as who we are as modern human beings. And there's people with all the things that we have, all the capacities that we have now, and what they mean to us now, and how they would inform our communities now.